Maybe give it to the folks that are listening. Selfishly, I want it for me, and Dan wants it for himself also. How do you start to pair bourbons with food, or do you pair foods with bourbons?
I think they're a little bit symbiotic. I do not. I think with whiskey, I don't subscribe to the idea of fighting the pairing. So I think you have options. So when you first start, you're looking at it and you say, okay, I have a dish that's spicy. Well, there's not any whiskey that's going to cool down spice, right? That's not going to work.
Hmm.
Whiskey doesn't work. Like in the wine world, you can say, okay, spicy food, I'm going to do a Riesling with it.
Hmm.
But in general, the way our taste buds work, you're better to go ahead and just accentuate whatever it is, right? Now, here's something that I think is really important that a lot of people don't talk about. Pairing wine and food, and hopefully a lot of things you do in your life, should be about balance. So I'm not a craft beer guy. I'm sorry to all my friends in craft beer. They know this. I've been roundly, posited as the idiot David Chang. I drink the champagne of beers, Miller High Life. I drink it ice cold. I want it so cold that it almost hurts my head. Just from when I was a kid, and I would sneak a beer after mowing the lawn, and I would literally put it in the freezer. Because if I went in the freezer, mom and dad just thought I was getting a popsicle or something because I mowed the big lawn. But it was an ice cold beer that was almost slushy, right? So when you get to things that are out of balance, whether it be an over oak Chardonnay or a triple IPA, I drink a triple IPA. I can't taste anything for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All I taste is bitter. So I think, trying to balance things out and not overwhelm the food shouldn't overwhelm the whiskey, and the whiskey can't overwhelm the food. They've got to complement each other. They've got to run. It's like you have these parallel tracks that you can eventually merge, right? Like, it's two different putts, but they're both breaking to the hole. If
Yeah,
they get to the
sure.
hole at the same time, you're there. So if you've got a food that's naturally spicy or has a lot of pepper in it, go with a spicier bourbon. If you've got something more mellow, like go with that. Oftentimes, pair off your sauce work,
Hmm.
right? Like that should be your first thing that you're pairing off of. So go sauce and go by whatever has kind of the biggest flavor. And then don't forget about texture too.
Hmm.
The easiest way to kind of pair is to think, for me, and everyone's different, is think about what flavors exist in a bourbon. So I tell people all the time, you want to get good at blind tasting or good at really tasting. And this is geeky as hell. Like no one needs to spend time doing this to enjoy bourbon. But if you want to take it to the nth degree, sit down with some corn, some dried corn, sit down with cranberries, sit down with banana chips, sit down with almonds, sit down with hazelnuts, sit down with graham crackers, a vanilla bean. And as you're tasting, like eat a little graham cracker. You'll be like, yes or no. Rye
Yeah.
bread, same idea, right? Wow, that's OBSV. It should be a high rye mash bill from Four Roses. Let me try it with rye. Now let me try OESK, and does it have as much rye to it? So that's how you really want to geek out. But if you think about those traditional flavors that I just mentioned, what of those exist in the food that you're there?
Yeah, sure.
Like what are those things like? So I'll give you an example. Sweet potatoes. It's an easy bourbon pairing because people are going to put butter, people are going to put marshmallows, which is sweet, caramel, like all those things work,
Probably some
right?
allspice or cinnamon or
Right.
something
So
along those
all
lines.
those things go into like think about what goes with that and then try and think of the flavors in the bourbon that you have and meld them up together.